Well, he may be a Washington insider now, but he came from the C-suite. He was the only person who was the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, now serving in Congress. He is, of course, Senator David Perdue from the great state of Georgia, and we welcome him now from Capitol Hill. Senator, welcome back. Good to have you.
Good morning, guys.
So we're all waiting with bated breath, as you would be CEO again, to find out what's going to come on out in these talks that are going on in Washington. What do you know?
Well, first of all, I give the administration high marks for engaging in this in the first place. After 30 years, we've seen the rapid rise of China, their abuse of stealing our technology, forced transfers of technology and joint ventures, which I suffered through personally, and also just their rapid growth. And so what we've done right now is ask them for a negotiation to create a level playing field. Look, I understand the uncertainty in the markets right now, and I am a little concerned, but 11% CapEx, as your earlier guest just mentioned, is pretty darn healthy from last year. And remember, that was on top of a pretty strong year the year before, and most of that was on regulation. This uncertainty, though, we need to wring out of what we're doing right now, and I think we're in the last days of doing that. I applaud the president for this cooling off period. We encouraged him to have an off-ramp when we started these negotiations. He indeed did that, so I'm really optimistic we're going to get to a good result here.
So, Senator, I don't want to be the kid in the back of the car saying, are we there yet? But I think there are a lot of people who are saying that, both in C-suites, but also farmers down in Georgia and things who are really being hurt by this dispute. What is the timetable? How long do you think this can continue until we really do some damage?
Well, I think right now to have the extension on the March 1 date was healthy because Secretary Mnuchin and Lighthizer have been in there negotiating very diligently. They made the last trip over there. So I think we've got a balanced approach. I think we're down to the last few big items right now. I anticipate sooner than later we'll see some announcements coming out. But again, time on this one is on our side. We know that they're moving in our direction, and that's a very positive thing. You mentioned farmers. Farmers are really desperate right now because of, in many parts of the country, not only because of this trade situation until we get it resolved, but also just because of the unresolved disaster relief things we've been trying to do up here the last few weeks.
Well, and I want to talk about those disaster relief issues, but before we get to that, one other issue, if I could, because it's been very much in the news, and that is the question of closing our border with Mexico. The president said he was going to do it. Now it seems like he's backed off of that. But you had Mitch McConnell, your colleague, and your leader there, the majority leader in the Senate, say, you know, that would be a disaster for the U.S. economy. Do you agree with him? Did the president just make a mistake in saying we just shut down the border altogether?
Look, this is the same guy that said that we want to back out of NATO, too. And look what happened. We've got NATO paying their fair share now, or trying to pay their fair share. What he wants to do in Mexico is get people's attention. I was just at the border. We have a 5-alarm disaster going on down there right now, David. It's not just the human traffic, it's the drug traffic. It has accelerated at a rate that we have not seen. It's unprecedented. Look, this is a draconian effort to think about closing the borders, but right now we are out of control. The CBP people down there are overwhelmed. The numbers are absolutely astronomical. We're over 100,000 a month right now coming in illegally that we're detaining. That doesn't count the ones that we're missing. And I saw many the night I was down there on the overnight patrols, even the ones that we picked up from Honduras that night. They came in, it was very interesting, they came in with no cash, no water, but they had a burner phone with one cell number programmed in there. And so this is a very organized effort down there on the southern border.
Okay, and let's talk about the disaster relief, because you've been very much involved in that, and we know that a lot of farmers, again, to go back to farmers, were really damaged extensively by the storms that came through, and you had a bill that was trying to address that, and it got really crosswise of Puerto Rico. Could you explain that to those of us who are not inside the Beltway?
Well, this is the height of obstructionism. I don't think that we could have given the Democrats everything they asked for and they still would have found something to say no about. The president himself actually acquiesced and met them in the middle ground on the Puerto Rico nutrition assistance that he said, yes, it was expiring. He approved an extension of about $600 million. And so we thought we had a deal based on that. And then there were other things that they asked for, like in the House bill, that we just couldn't get passed in the Senate. So we tried this week, Monday night. It failed. We're going to keep trying every day, but time is of the essence here. Farmers will lose their farm, some of them, over this delay in trying to get relief to them.
Okay, finally, Senator, I just want to come back to you as a former CEO. We've had a lot of discussion just this morning, as we often do, about capital investment. And a lot of the drive behind the tax reform, the tax cuts, was capital investment. How concerned are you about capital investment right now? Are we really getting the sort of increase in capital investment that we thought we would get and that we need?
Oh, absolutely. Let's back up and take it and put a perspective on it. If you look at the decade before the tax bill, and let's back up even the year before that, I think the bigger issue that we've made here, our bigger change we've made here, is on the regulatory front. I mean, we have dramatically pulled back on some of the more draconian regulations. And what we saw in 17 and early 18 was a pop in consumer confidence and a pop in CEO confidence. And following that was an increase in CapEx. CapEx right now is on a long-term trend upward. And I think that we'll see a continuation of that if we get some type of resolution, positive resolution on this China negotiation. Remember, though, we have other things that are very positive. We have a South Korean trade agreement that we haven't had. China or Japan is in here negotiating in good faith. Europe wants to get a deal done. We have the USMCA moving. So I think I see progress right now, and I think most CEOs there see it the same way.
Okay, Senator David Perdue, really appreciate you being with us. Always enjoy talking with you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
That's Senator David Perdue from the state of Georgia, coming to us from